Good morning and thanks for stopping by GardenStateWeather.com and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, your source for weather information 24 hours a day for New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, and the northern mid-Atlantic region. I'm forecaster Robert Smith with the video forecast discussion for Thursday, August 29th, 2013. And we're starting things out this morning with lots of low clouds and fog across many interior sections this morning. Temperatures are on the either side of 70 and the dew points are reflective of that as well, starting out in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. And the winds are all out of the northeast now as a weak backdoor cold front has now slid through the area. And those northeast winds, and combined with the residual low-level moisture, bringing in plenty of low clouds, stratus, and fog across the region this morning. And we can see this morning on the visual satellite in 3D. See the upper cloud deck here in the blues and pinks as the northwest flow continues across the region in the upper levels of the atmosphere. But in the lower levels of the atmosphere, we can see the northeast winds pushing in the stratus and low clouds here on the 3D visual viewpoint of the visual satellite imagery. And if we zoom in on this, we can see the warm cloud tops and the upper level cloud tops shifting off the shore as the winds are all from the northwest to the southeast around that center of ridge of high pressure well back to the southwest. And the low cloud deck streaming in from off the ocean. These are the lower clouds in here and lower clouds in here. This is the stratus coming in on northeast winds. So the lower levels have a northeast wind. The upper levels still maintain a northwest to southeast component. The mid and upper levels of the atmosphere are dry with all this sinking dry air here in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. But at the surface, what we have is northeast winds. And these northeast winds are actually promoting an inland effect of bringing the low-level stratus and fog back into the coastal regions and also into interior parts of New Jersey this morning. You can see the effect of this as showers and thunderstorms have propagated from northeast to southwest across the region as the cold front has swung through. This means cooler temperatures today than yesterday, and a little bit more sunshine will give way today too. And it looks like there'll probably be an outlier shower here across interior sections where any kind of sea breeze development or boundary, surface boundary, develops during this afternoon. Yesterday we had quite a smattering of rain across the region. Northeastern New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, northern New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, down through the northern Delmarva region. Some areas in here picked up better than 2, 3, 4 inches of rainfall yesterday. And some of the modeling yesterday morning didn't really indicate a lot of that was going to happen. And the reason why some of that happened is that we had the frontal boundary stall to the south and east, as we showed you yesterday, and an area of low pressure developed along the front. It was a little bit stronger. There was a stronger convergence zone going on there than the models had picked up earlier in the morning when the broadcast was done. And we just had an outbreak of showers and thunderstorms which produced a lot of flooding and water rescues yesterday in northern Bergen County and across the I-95 corridor. Watches, warnings, and advisories for today. Actually, I just goofed up on the map here. We do have a small craft advisory for the northern shores of Delaware, from Delaware Beach from Rehoboth down to Bethany Beach until 11 p.m. this evening. And if you're planning on going to the beach today, we have partly sunny skies in New Jersey, and also for Delaware, water temperatures, or high temperatures actually, will be in the mid-70s today. So it's going to be cooler with an onshore wind out of the northeast at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Seas around 3 to 4 feet, and that's enough to cause some moderate surf advisories for rip currents. So we have moderate rip current risk during today. The UVI index is 7. Surf temperatures are in the low to mid-70s. Air temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s too. And the next high tide at Atlantic City will be just about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and also for Rehoboth Beach in Delaware at around 12 minutes past 3 this afternoon. There's a moderate risk of rip currents along the New Jersey beaches because of the northeast winds coming in. But for Long Island and New York, from Coney Island out to Hither Hills, there's a low risk of rip currents. A lightning risk will be none today, although we did have a little bit of lightning slip south and east this morning with that cold front that slipped through. Surf heights are going to be around 2 to 3 feet. Surf temperatures are either side of 70 degrees, and there is a low risk of lightning today. UVI index will continue to be on the high side. Current surface analysis from weatherroanoke.com from Weather Matrix Digital Atmosphere, producing these graphics here. All the reds here, low cloud ceilings, lots of fog across the region, northeastern Pennsylvania into northern New Jersey. A few areas right along the immediate coastline not receiving dense or patchy fog, but still quite a bit of fog across this entire region as the winds are northeast. The air is saturated in the lower levels. That's producing reduced visibilities this morning. The wave of low pressure off the Virginia Capes is now moving further out to sea, and that means that weak high pressure is going to build into the region during today with a variable amount of cloud cover and sunshine and cooler temperatures, especially with the northeast flow. Again, watching the tropics this morning, there is absolutely nothing going on here. We have a couple of disturbances in the Gulf area, in the Caribbean, but upper level winds not really favorable for anything. Here's our low pressure area off the Virginia coast. This wave here off the coast of Africa has about a 10% chance of developing into a tropical disturbance in the next 5 days, but then the upper level winds and dry air over the central and western Atlantic and Caribbean become increasingly an issue, and that means that this has a very low chance of becoming anything organized during the next 5 days, but will be monitored. NAMWRF composite reflectivity from Penn State Seawall site this morning shows the clouds and fog in the area, and a variable amount of cloud cover will begin to burn off. That stratus and fog will begin to burn off with partly sunny skies, but the chance of an outlier shower or thunderstorm via a sea breeze or any kind of initialization at the surface looks pretty dim for most of today. And sunshine should reign supreme, but there is a northeast to east wind, so temperatures right along the coast. Not the best day to be at the beach unless you like really cooler weather. Temperatures there holding in the 70s. Temperatures inland away from the water about 10 miles in or so, getting into the low and mid 80s across the region, either side of 80, especially in the Philadelphia metropolitan area. So it's going to be a nice day once we get rid of this. And then tonight we'll have a few more clouds and even perhaps an outlier shower or thunderstorm developing across the region. Again, these will be focused over interior sections widely scattered as a result of any kind of sea breeze or mid-level or upper-level disturbance. Then really overnight tonight into Friday morning, what we're looking at is some very dense fog across the region. We could have another night where light winds and low-level moisture in place here, so we could have more patchy low-level fog and stratus coming in tomorrow morning into the terminals, and that could extend well inland across the New Jersey, Philadelphia metro area into Pennsylvania tomorrow morning as well too, and it could be a little denser than tonight. High pressure will then move off the coast on Friday, providing lots of sunshine and return flow out of the southwest. Temperatures again along the coastal beaches in the 70s, away from the water about 10 miles in, temperatures low to mid 80s. So Friday looks to be mostly dry, nice day even to go to the beach, and Saturday looks basically dry too, and a south to southwest wind, even warmer temperatures on Saturday afternoon, probably getting up to the lower 80s again, cooler along the immediate south shore and east ends of Long Island and along the New Jersey facing beaches, with a southerly flow right along the barrier island. So it's going to be pleasant weather to go to the beach for the next couple of days, despite the fact that today we'll have more of an onshore flow than perhaps Friday and Saturday. GFS from last night with the upper level winds and vorticity. Here's our ridge of high pressure, which is providing the heat wave across the central plains, parts of the south and central states, and also the southwestern states. And it's forecast to really retrograde a little bit and flatten over the next couple of days. We see a mean trough here in the eastern United States with an axis shifted off the coast. There will be another upper level trough developing here across Canada. This ridge will begin to flatten. The flow will become more west to east, which is more zonal over the next couple of days into the weekend. And then what we're going to find is that this trough axis begins to pull away but still maintain itself with a northwest flow. We're on the western side of it, so disturbances still coming through but trying to minor out as they race from northwest to southeast, with weak cold frontal boundaries and upper level disturbances moving through and weakening as they do so over the weekend. And the ridge begins really to retrograde back to the southwestern Four Corners region. And here's our next digging trough here across the plains, across Canada. And this trough will begin to first initiate across the northern plains and then propagate towards the Great Lakes and eastern United States as the mean trough begins to develop here early next week with a cold frontal passage, which will be slow to occur during Monday night through Tuesday. And that's really going to change the dynamics of the atmosphere because that cold front now will begin to drive down through Tuesday night and early Wednesday morning. And as it does so, it will bring a refreshing air mass and a reinvigoration of cooler air into the northeastern United States as we get a break from this week into the weekend. And then next week is looking plenty chilly across the northern tier with the ridge extending and trying to build right back into its central position again. Another disturbance coming in from off upper low coming in from off the Pacific here into the west coast. And then the ridge begins to try to build back to more of a zonal flow and extend east. So we could have a little bit more of a warm up by mid to late week next week. But still maintaining a northwesterly flow, trough access weakening a little bit, and that means that early next week is probably going to be a little chillier after the cold frontal passage on Wednesday and Thursday, and then a moderation in trend for Friday and Saturday, and perhaps even Sunday of next weekend as well. So if you're planning an early getaway to the beach for the holiday weekend, make it a safe one. It should be good. You should have generally fair weather. Cooler temperatures, once again, as mentioned, along the immediate coast, but pleasurable weather indeed. Late night and early morning patchy fog will be evident across the coastal regions, especially New Jersey and New York coastal waters during tonight and early Friday morning. And again, we could see a little bit less fog, but still more fog and haze on Friday night into Saturday morning. And we'll have the complete forecast for the beach zones for the holiday weekend on tomorrow's broadcast. For GardenStateWeather.com, I'm forecaster Robert Smith. You make it a pleasant Thursday. We'll be back with you bright and early tomorrow morning on Friday.